back to We Are the Batman. This is your show where we talk all things Batman and DC. We talk news, we talk all kinds of stuff, and we throw crazy ideas at you about things we'd like to see, like maybe Dolph Lundgren playing an old man Bruce Wayne. I don't know. It could happen. I'm never going to let Matt forget that one. My name is Mike.
Hello, and this is Matthew, and I don't know if I can stand by my Dolph Lundgren decision, but until we see him in the cape and cowl, we will never know.
So before we get into our main topic today, we had a little bit of DC news drop yesterday, and I thought that this was a really cool thing to talk about because we've been speculating what the Penguin series on HBO Max was going to be like. Is it going to be a prequel of him getting in with Falcone, or is it going to be a transition between the Batman and its inevitable sequel? And Colin Farrell himself has confirmed that as of now, the series is set during a week after the events of the Batman. He said, quote, "I read the first script for the first episode, and it opens with it opens up with my feet splashing through the water in Falcone's office." Hell yes. Yes. This is what I need. Yeah. What are you thinking about this?
I mean, we kind of talked about this. We at the time on our last episode, we were answering questions. We didn't know what this thing was going to be, and I was right. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I think we were. It was like we didn't know what it was going to be. So the fact that it's going to be a bridging the gap between, well, we assume between the first and second movie. Who knows when the second movie's coming out, because I haven't said anything about that. But I think that would be. I think it's cool. Like, dude, the fact that Colin Farrell is unrecognizable but still amazing in that film, I can't say I'm excited for the show, but I am intrigued to see what it's going to be.
Yeah, and if it, because they were also talking about this other HBO Max series that was supposed to be like about the Gotham City PD. I think it was going to be kind of Jim Gordon centric, and reports have been that show has kind of been done away with / merged into the Penguin series. So I think it's an interesting idea because, yeah, I mean, we've got to. Obviously, this means that they're moving forward. They have some kind of plan in mind for what they want to do early stages with the Batman follow-up. And they like, okay, well, obviously we're going to need to tell some story to bridge that gap. And I think that this is an excellent way to tell that story, especially because like this is just great world building. This is a great use of a streaming service to do world building, and it's fitting that we've got this news when we're getting ready to do the episode that we're going to do today, talking about world building in your cinematic stories and all that. But yeah, I mean, Colin Farrell was such a show stealer in the Batman in what little time we had with him. Definitely. So you just getting to see more of this. Yes, please. Yeah, just give it to me. It's fine. I got no complaints whatsoever.
No, let's see it. I mean, given how good Peacemaker was, I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do with this.
Oh, me too. Me too. So that's the most news we've gotten from anything in the Batman camp in a while. And honestly, it doesn't seem like much, but that, like I said, that lets us know a lot. That lets us know, one, they still have a lot of confidence in this property. And two, they're starting to get some ideas of where they want to go next with this Battinson Batman world we're living in now. So that just shows like, yep, we're still going.
Definitely. I like it. All right. And what are we doing today?
All right. So like I said, we're talking about world building. So, in the grand scheme of things, we've seen a lot of things happening, moving parts and stuff over at Marvel right now as they're moving around dates and figuring out directors and movies and stuff like that. And, in the conversation that we had after recording a different episode that you guys might not hear the light ever hear because we kind of nixed it after we did it. But we realized that part of what has hurt DC's intertwined universe of films, whatever you want to call it, worlds of DC, DCEU, DCFU, who cares? They have no plan. And so we decided, Man of Steel was a good jumping off point. Man of Steel, while not like the best film ever. It was a good starting off point as a let's try and kickstart some kind of cinematic universe with these characters in the world of in the world of DC Comics. So, going from Man of Steel, we have decided to pitch what we're calling, for lack of a better term, our ideas for a phase 1 of the DCEU, as if the current slate has never happened, playing with house money, going back to where Man of Steel left off and saying, where would we have taken things from there? And I'm not going to lie, I cheated a little bit with one of these, and I'm sure I'm going to hear about it at some point from Matt. But that was kind of our one rule, was just that Man of Steel came out as it is, and we're going from there. It was completely up to us whether or not we chose to recast anyone, which movies to do, how many of them to do. We try to set it to where it was, because when we looked at what the MCU did, their phase 1 was 6 movies from Iron Man through the Avengers. So we said, let's cap at 6 movies. It's a good jumping off point. And the reason we're pulling so much also from how the MCU did things is because, well, it worked. I mean, I'm sorry, guys, it worked. They are in phase 4 now, so obviously something about that works. So let's just roll with that and take a little bit of inspiration from them in terms of having a plan and setting up story and going from there. And I think this was kind of a brainchild of both of us, really. I think.
Yes, we did an episode and it didn't quite turn out the way we wanted, and then it was like, well, what did we ultimately? And you guys may eventually hear it if we ever lose track. Ultimately, it was a conversation about Batman versus Superman, which bottom lined into, let's just not have that movie ever exist and do what we want. Because part of that conversation we had was how to make Batman versus Superman better. And I think this is kind of what extended from that conversation was, hey, what if it just never happened? And we planned out the phase 1, or maybe year 1, because that's what DC likes us to call it, of the DC extended universe.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways you can play with that. I mean, because first of all, Marvel does not have the lockdown on the term phase 1. Let's just get that out of the way right now. Like, they don't own the term. I know Disney owns almost everything, but they don't own that. That's been around for a long time. But yeah, we did our BVS talk, and what it turned into was just, it's that I really like the movie. Matt really doesn't, but we didn't want to fight about it. So it turned into Matt trying not to be too mean and me trying not to get too defensive. And it did. So if you ever do hear that episode, it means that, like, life has gone to hell and we are both incredibly busy and simply didn't have time to record another episode. So here's this shit-tastic episode that we recorded that a couple days later we were like, you know what? That wasn't it. That wasn't it. Let's not do that one. So we're gonna pitch you guys our 5 movies. So again, it's 6 movies in this phase. We're pitching you the 5 that would come after Man of Steel. And I think you're gonna be mad at me when I tell you that I cheated a little bit, which is why I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay. All right. Now, do we want to go back and forth about what our next movies would be, or do we want to do our entire slate all together?
Let's go back and forth, because otherwise we're each going to be sitting here for 45 minutes not talking.
Very fair. Very fair.
So Man of Steel has happened in 2013. Matt, where are you taking it from there?
I actually am gonna. Mine is a moderate cheat because I think this is part of what started conversations. I actually had plotted out and did the first 2 scenes writing wise of a Justice League movie. I would let Man of Steel lead into Justice League because, for me, as much as Man of Steel is global, it is still only one of the things I liked about it is it's Lois Lane trying to find out who this mysterious person is. So there's nothing that doesn't say all these other characters existed outside of it. So,
Okay.
I start my second film as Justice League, and
Wow.
Yeah. Second film is
Okay.
Justice League.
Okay.
And what the pseudo plot of mine, the plot of I had kind of done before that I'm going to try and explain quickly is essentially the Amazonians and the Atlanteans have been talking about kind of creating a global peacekeeping entity that would bring
Mhm.
all the different lands together. So they decide that because this Superman being is here, he should be the third kind of trinity of this council that protects Earth. So Aquaman goes to Wonder Woman, and they say, together, we're going to go meet this guy, Superman, and we're going to tell him, hey, we all need to be together and help kind of shape and protect the world going forward. But right before they go see him, Superman goes to stop this robbery and ends up getting his butt handed to him because these robbers have kryptonite laced weapons. But
Mhm.
luckily, there's this other guy who's after these robbers named Batman who stops them and saves him. And basically, Superman's like, hey, we should team up. And Batman says, no, I don't want to team up with you. I've got this handled, and leaves. And what you have is as Superman and Wonder Woman and um, Aquaman are kind of teamed up trying to decide, hey, I think there's a threat out there that we need to stop and we need to go to this city. At the same time, Batman goes to the Flash and says, "Hey, I need your help because I know you're a forensic scientist and I can't figure out where this stuff came from." Because he takes some of the Kryptonian or the kryptonite laced weapons. And Flash is like, "Cool, yes, I can help you. But we're going to need to get to this other place and we're going to bring my friend Green Lantern." So in my idea, all these other characters have existed and watched Man of Steel happen. And maybe some of it is like the Flash was doing things in his city while that crap was going on in in Metropolis. Because you see Superman in Metropolis, but you don't see any other city of what's happening. So I would kind of have a moment of that. But the big difference I'm doing is kind of taking a note with Marvel in that when the Man of Steel ship, when the Kryptonian ship is activated, Abin Sur is sent to Earth to investigate what's going on because from their understanding, Krypton is gone. On his way
Mhm.
here, when he arrives, Lex Luthor knows it's happening and shoots his ship down. And in the explosion, a lightning bolt explodes out of his alien engine, and that is where the Flash gets his powers. It's not just a random bolt of lightning, it's actually like an alien generated power source that gives him that lightning bolt. And of course, at the same time, you get Green Lantern being born because Abin Sur dies, and my Green Lantern gets his ring. So it's essentially they figure out that the stuff was made in Gorilla City, which is just happens to be where Superman and Aquaman and Wonder Woman are going. And when they get there, Gorilla Grodd is there, and he uses this technology he's been given to mind control them. So once Batman, Flash, and Green Lantern arrive, big battle between everybody. Batman eventually figures out that even Gorilla Grodd does not have the ability to do this, and that Gorilla Grodd actually has Martian Manhunter in a machine that is powering the headband he's using, and he's basically stealing Martian Manhunter's powers. And the fight ends. Everybody gets, I'm so fast forward through all this crap. Essentially, they defeat Gorilla Grodd. They free um, Martian Manhunter. Find out Lex Luthor's behind all of this. They can't touch him because, of course, he's untouchable. But at the end of the movie, decide, okay, yes, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, even though Aquaman, you were being mind controlled by Gorilla Grodd, and that's why you decided to bring these three people together under the false pretense of we're going to do this, but it was actually this trick. It is a good idea. Let's create a Justice League. And the end of the movie is them deciding we should all be the Justice League, so that you have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter as the Justice League at the end of the movie.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think you're out of your damn mind doing a justice, doing all just doing the thing right out the gate. But it's why you're here. I
Well, and
mean,
this is
only
where, yeah, it's you
go
get
ahead.
the micro origin of everybody enough to start this thing, and then their own movies you delve into the deep. Because I think the
Okay.
problem that sometimes happens to some of these things is that, like, look, there's already been a Green Lantern movie. There's a Flash show going on. We don't have to tell these stories in the movie. Like, look, what's the Flash's powers? He runs really fast. I got hit by a bolt of lightning and now I run really fast. Cool. You're the Flash. I have this power ring. It's obviously a power ring on my hand. Look at me flying. Hey, cool, that's Green Lantern. I think sometimes we get into needing the origin. If you just say, like, this is my power and this is who I am, people go, cool. I think sometimes you get caught up in you have to tell the origin and not just saying, like, dude, if look, my name's, Princess Diana from Themyscira. I am Wonder Woman. And this is where my people are. Like, yeah, it's going to be a little talky heavy at the beginning, but as we get into it and you go forward, you get these great ending action scenes. Because if you think about something like the Avengers, like, there's really only 2 or 3 big action scenes in that movie. The rest of it is just them blah 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 blah. And I think you can do the same with this, especially when you have these cool characters that a lot of people do already know. So that's kind of what I'm leaning on, and then after that we get into some of the individual films.
Okay. All right.
And it's crazy as crap, but I think it's also, let's do, like, if DC wants to make its mark, do something different. Start with the team.
Yeah.
I mean, we the first X-Men movie, the only origin we get told is Wolverine's. Everybody else is just there.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. That's very true.
So that's
Um,
my wacky beginning is Justice League.
you 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 psychopath. You absolute psychopath. I I like it as a Justice League movie. I don't know if I would do it right after Man of Steel, but this is your pitch, so I'm not gonna take it away from you. Like, as a Justice League movie, I think it works. But as a pitch for the second movie in this, in it's like, wow, that's like going Iron Man, the Avengers. Okay. Oh, so we're just doing it. Oh, okay, I got you.
Well, and I think that, and that's where, to me, like, it's basically what they did with Batman versus Superman is you threw so much crap in there, like,
Yeah.
just do it. Lean into, we're going to do something completely different from Marvel, and just out the gate, we're in Justice League, and have fun.
Okay. All right.
What's your second movie?
So before I even do my second movie, this is the part where I kind of cheated a little bit. I'm
Okay.
giving some post credit scenes to Man of Steel. Okay.
Okay.
Because I think, as much as I really do like that movie, it needed that. If, like, I'm sorry, but they work. The post credit scenes work.
Yeah.
It's a great way to tease what's coming next. It's a great way to do some world building without having to sacrifice the actual story of your movie. So I'm adding 2 post credit scenes to Man of Steel. The first one is, we see some scientists just kind of studying the crashed Kryptonian ship. They're walking around. They're trying to they're trying to figure stuff out. And then at one point, the scientists leave the room, and we see this computer console turn on, and there's some Kryptonian text scrolling across the screen, and we hear that weird computer voice say, "Transmission commencing," and we basically see what is Brainiac's symbol show up on the screen, and it's flashing green.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's post credit scene number 1. Because the fact that these movies didn't tease Brainiac at all is ridiculous. And then my second post credit scene is an idea that I've had for a very long time, and that is, so Man of Steel did something that really got people excited, which was when he's fighting General Zod, they destroy a Wayne Enterprises satellite. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I am now, my second post credit scene is going to be the footage of the fight between him and Zod from the perspective of the satellite, because it was from a camera recording footage of space from that satellite, and the footage is being rewound and played back in slow motion, and we cut to Ben Affleck, Bruce Wayne in the Batcave just reviewing the footage and just staring at it like with that Batman intensity, and we cut to black. So those are my two
Yes.
post-credit scenes for Man
All
of
right,
Steel.
perfect.
That leads me into my second movie, which is a Batman movie. And I also put down the years these are coming out because I think that's important as well. So Man of Steel comes out in the summer of 2013. And I kind of spaced it out similar to the way they did the phase one of Marvel, which is like at the time it was like a movie a year, maybe two if you were lucky. Because like we had Iron Man in 2008, Incredible Hulk was a few months later, and then we don't get another one until 2010. So a year after Man of Steel comes out, we get Batman City of Crime. Now, City of Crime is a very good Batman story arc. Was written by, I want to say, damn it, now I'm blanking on it. David Lapham. I know Nathan Mason-Gill worked on it, but it's basically like everything kind of goes to shit in Gotham. And it kind of just, it introduces some different villains, and it's Batman trying to put some stuff together. Basically, this story is going to be a loose Batman City of Crime coming out in 2014 is a loose adaptation of the City of Crime story arc from the comics and Death in the Family.
Oh,
because
nice.
it is absolutely ridiculous. As much as I like the movie, it is absolutely asinine that Robin's death happened off screen in a movie that doesn't exist. So in this movie, I'm going to introduce some Batman villains. I'm going to introduce Penguin and Joker and Ra's al Ghul.
Wow,
Now,
you said my thing was.
I'm going somewhere. So this takes place right after Man of Steel in 2013. Okay, and that's the time. The years are important to me because of what I'm going to be telling with these other stories, because I kind of want this to take place in real time. Like I spoiler alert, I end my stuff with Justice League in 2017. Like I'm still getting to Justice League in 2017, but I'm just putting out multiple movies in a year to tell this story, so that when we do get to Justice League, it's been 3-4 years since like Man of Steel happened, since Robin died. It is Jason Todd Robin, because there was that rumor going around that the one that dies in BVS is supposed to be Dick Grayson. I don't like that. I'm sorry, Zack Snyder. I love you, but I don't like that idea. This takes place immediately after Man of Steel. Penguin, being the corrupt mobster arms dealer guy that he is just capitalizing on all the destruction and chaos caused by the fallout of the Kryptonian attack. He's just, pushing all kinds of stuff, and he's strong arming people, and he's trying to get monopoly on things people need, like supplies and stuff like that. And it comes to Ra's al Ghul comes to Batman and basically says, hey, like, your city is wrecked beyond all reason. It is time for you to align with the League of Assassins and join me and make this city get its shit together. And Batman says, go F yourself. Robin and I can handle this. It's just going to take time. This is like, we're dealing with aliens now. This isn't something that even the League can handle. Go take a bath in your green jacuzzi, Roz. I got this. So to try and push him over the edge to join to realize he has to come to his side, Roz hires the Joker to just unleash chaos and start just, going, just really pushing Batman over the edge. There's a part of City of Crime that actually takes place early in the story, but I'm saving it for now, that involves a fire that happens in Crime Alley, and Batman and Robin try to go help. And what ends up happening is they get people out, and then they realize that there were a bunch of people in there that they couldn't save, and they all died. And this is adding to, because when we get to BVS, the implication is that the Kryptonian attack pushed Bruce Wayne over the edge, and he snapped and became this ultra violent Batman. That works, but we didn't get to see him develop into that. He just is that. I
Yeah.
want to see the story of him becoming that unhinged version of Batman. So, but through the distraction of all this stuff happening with the Fire and Crime Alley, Joker goes rogue, kidnaps Robin, and does the death in the family to him. And like, we see it happen. It happens on screen. Joker kills Robin on screen in this movie. Spray paints his suit and everything, because I actually did like that detail. I like that detail a lot. So then, and by the way, come at me on Twitter at Mr. Mike Shea. I'm leaving the Joker as he is in Suicide Squad. However, I'm going to make him make sense in this world. We're spending time with him. We're
Okay.
getting to
Okay.
know him
Okay.
as a character. We're getting to know the world they're in as to why. Because Suicide Squad just puts him in there and says, here, this makes sense because we're telling you it makes sense. No, in this movie, we're going to see
Yeah.
this Joker and spend time with him. But we're also going to get to see the scene where after he kills Robin, Batman tracks him down because he's just obsessed with tattooing himself. That's where he's got all those fucking tattoos. He's tattooing himself. We see Batman track Joker down to wherever he's at and just beats the ever living shit out of Joker. He is 2 steps away from killing him. He bashes in all his teeth so that when you see him in Suicide Squad, he's got all those silver fake teeth. That's why, because Batman beat the teeth out of his face. And to the point where Joker lifts up his arm and shows him his little Robin tattoo that he's tattooed on himself. And Batman is just beating the hell out of this guy. Comes to a moment where he just is about to, and he hears Alfred in his earpiece and basically says, this is not what Jason would want. And he stops. And he just leaves Joker lying there. He walks out of the building. The GCPD is there. Gordon's sitting there. His glove is just covered in blood. There's blood that's splattered up onto his face. And he's just like, what did you do? And Batman says, he's still alive, and disappears. And this movie does not have a happy ending. Like a movie called City of Crime does not have a happy ending. The final, we see him like in the cave brooding. Alfred's putting up Robin's suit on in that case that it was in the movie. And Batman is just continuing to review his files of everything that's happened, because he's recording footage, because obviously he is, just kind of like the way that Pattinson was. I mean, that's not a new thing with Batman. And all of this, he just realizes that all of this started because of that goddamn Kryptonian. And the final shot of this movie is him on a skyscraper in Metropolis, or in Gotham rather, because I'm doing the thing where they're basically 2 cities on opposite sides of the harbor, and he's got his night vision binoculars on, and he is just watching and scanning and watching Superman like fly around, and takes his binoculars off, and he's just got this angry look on his face, and his teeth are kind of gnarled a little bit, and then credits.
I like it. So you're gonna do Batman versus Superman.
I'm going to earn Batman versus Superman. Okay. Now I have every movie has 2 post-credit scenes. Okay. My first but all my post-credit scenes are dedicated to one thing, and that is building out this world and teasing what's to come. They're not there to be frivolous. They're there with a purpose. Okay. So my first post-credit scene is we see our old buddy, Colonel Swanwick, played by Henry Lennox. Mm-hmm. I am continuing with him being Martian Manhunter, but I'm going to earn it.
Sure.
And it starts with him he's in a debriefing with plans to study Kryptonian tech that was still left behind, because he's the highest ranking military official around who was a part of the fight. So of course he's put in charge of this shit. So he's debriefing people about plans to study this tech. He's on the ship, and they're in what looks to be some kind of control room, maybe where they were piloting stuff, where the person flying the ship would be. And they say, we got an expert here to look at the controls and see if they can figure out how this thing even flew. Hey, Captain Jordan, come in here, please. and a physically fit Nathan Fillion walks in his Air Force garb. And he's like, yeah, I'll take a look at this thing and I'll see what I can figure out. And they like, okay, well, we'll leave you to it. And they leave the room and he crouches down and he's looking at the console and he makes sure that nobody's there. And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a green power ring, puts it on his finger and just starts scanning the console. And we cut to black. End of post-credit scene number 1. Post-credit scene number 2, Joker in a, Hannibal Lecter-esque mask and harness, missing all of his teeth. Or no, at this point, he's got the silver ones put in. But he's getting wheeled into Arkham, and he's introduced to his new therapist, Dr. Harleen Quinzel.
Nice.
And credits roll. So that's my pitch for the first movie after Man of Steel. It's Batman City of Crime, and we're world building, and we're trying to justify the conflict of a Batman v Superman that's going to come way later on.
Okay, I like it. Well, now let me ask you this, because go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, because if you really go back and watch from the Avengers on, they're teasing Cap versus Iron Man Civil War from jump.
Yes.
Like that is being teased from jump. So if we're going to do that, then let's earn it. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for the first part of our repitch for a do-over on the first phase of the DCEU, if we could have our way with it. We got a lot more coming for you down the road, so make sure you tune in again next week for what we've got in store for the rest of our pitch. And until then, we'll see you guys again next time, same bat podcast channel.